Adapted from the book by Michael Morpurgo, what was originally a British stage play has now been produced worldwide, with audiences topping 5 million and accolades including 6 Tony Awards.
The Tony Award goes to...
Warhorse. Warhorse.
Warhorse. Warhorse.
A special Tony Award went to the Handspring Puppet Company, which creates the life-size puppets for all the productions. Each horse is operated by 3 expert puppeteers who train for 8 weeks under the show's associate puppetry director, Craig Leo.
Hi, Craig.
Hi, Lorna.
How are you?
I'm very well. Nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too. So I've heard so much about Warhorse, but for the people that don't know, what's the story all about?
Warhorse is the story of a young boy who follows his horse into the First World War. What happens is this young chap who is too young to join up, his horse gets sequisitioned as they took all the horses to go and fight in the war. And this young lad obviously has formed an incredible bond with his horse and decides that he's going to go and find him. And that takes us into the First World War, where we are then taken on a journey and we actually see the disaster and the decimation of the First World War, but through the eyes of a horse.
It takes 8 months to make a full set of these characters for each production, and the many shows have employed 950 people in jobs like no other.
Let's talk about the cast. Some of the puppets are really massive, particularly the horses.
All the puppets, in fact, are life-size. We have Joey and Topthorn are the 2 lead characters, and then we've got 4 mustering horses, which are used in the charges, the military charges. We have a goose, who steals everyone's heart. We have swallows. They are also soldiers who ride the horses. And then we also meet the young Joey, which is a foal, which is also life-size. So everything is life-size, real.
Each horse is made of cane and leather, with the manes and whisking tails of Tyvek, a material used in bookbinding. Tace Stunder gave us an anatomy lesson.
Hi, Tace. Now, this looks very familiar. Is this cane?
Yes, it's cane, like basically all the rest of the horse.
Why is it the best material to use?
It's basically 2 reasons. The one is strength and the other one is lightness. It being a fairly big creature that sometimes also has to carry a person on its back, you needed both of them. And cane specifically is pliable, and if you use it correctly, it retains the shape that you want it to retain. Like you can see, for instance, with the coils around the ears and all the little curves here. But to get it like that requires a certain technique, which we kind of developed within the Handspring context.
It was Handspring Puppet Company's founding partners ADRIAN KOHLER and BASIL Jones who took the real-life movement, character and spirit of these animals and recreated them in these extraordinary puppets and the techniques required to bring them to life.
Basil and Adrian, let's talk about your company. How did it start?
We began in 1981 performing for children because that seemed to be the logical audience for a puppet company in South Africa in the early 80s. But we always had a secret hankering to work for a grown-up audience, and by the time we were 5 years old, we did our first adult play, and we didn't sink. In fact, it did very well for us. It opened doors in the theatre, so gradually we built an adult audience.
Why puppets?
One of the things that puppets can do on stage that other things can't is be an animal. So you can't have, for instance, a live giraffe on stage, but you can have a full-size giraffe puppet on stage. So puppets offer animals to the theatre world. That's one of our big offers.
Well, I'm really hoping that I'll get to meet Topthorn today.
You might be lucky. I mean, he is a horse. He's a highly strung, thoroughbred horse, and he doesn't always come when we want him to, but...
Let's try.
Let's try.
Topthorn.
Wow, that is amazing.
Go meet Lorna.
What to say?
Put out your hand.
Hello. It feels so real. How do you ensure that the movements are so smooth and realistic?
Well, there are quite a few tricks built into the horse, Lorna. You'll notice the ears are moving, and Sam, the head manipulator, is controlling the ears through these bicycle brake cables that go up into the ears. And when they're facing forward like that, it means the horse is interested and relaxed. But if they go backwards, like yes, it means that he's scared or angry. And and that's the time to keep clear of the horse because he gets dangerous. Then another emotional indicator of the horse is the skin. If I stroke the skin, you see he's very sensitive. He's a thoroughbred. He's like, you know, jittery at the best of times. Now, Luanda here in the middle is working the front legs, and this lever here pulls up the knee joint of the horse, but this string here is a passive string. We call it a passive tendon, which allows the hoof of the horse to curl up automatically as he makes a step, and it gives that very lifelike action of the hooves of the horse.
Basil, I see how important the breathing is to make the movement even more realistic.
Lorna, for us at Handspring, breath is the beginning of all puppet manipulation. And with the horse, Adrian had a really good idea, because normally a horse breathes this way, but that wouldn't really be seen by an audience very well. So he thought of having the horse breathe up and down. So just by doing this, the horse manipulator is actually moving the whole body of the horse up and down, and depending on how exactly what the rhythm is, the horse breathes in a different rhythm.
Why are they made in South Africa?
Good question. Tom Morris, who's the director of Warhorse, had seen a show that we'd done with a life-size giraffe. And when he was thinking about Warhorse, he thought, well, these are the people who do really good animals. Maybe they would be good for the horses, for Warhorse. And he just joined the National Theatre in London. And he was expected as a director to bring in new talent, new interesting people. And fortunately, he chose us.
Reinforced with aluminium, the horses are designed to take the weight of a rider. And once in the saddle, it's impossible not to believe you have a living, breathing creature beneath you.
Well done.
He's a little frisky.
Okay, relax, boy. Into the sunset.
Warhorse runs at the Teatro at Monte Cassino until November 30th, then opens at the Artscape Opera House on December the 5th.
This is definitely one way of stopping the traffic. Tap Thorn to the theatre.